With these can-do videos, you'll see real-life situations where you have to introduce yourself, talk about your family, or give your contact information. So, by the end, you can do them yourself in Korean. This video is a small portion of our can-do course. To get the full course, including translations, grammar tools, and assessment tests, click the link in the description. Welcome to Can Do Korean by KoreanClass101.com.
안녕하세요, 여러분. 김계진입니다. Hi everyone, I'm Kejin Kim. In this lesson, you'll learn how to talk about your family from a parent's perspective.
This is Karen Morris, and she's studying with her Korean teacher, Son Hyung Shim. The teacher notices a picture on Karen's computer and asks, "Is this your family, Karen?"
카렌 씨 가족이에요?
Listen to the conversation and focus on the response. Ready?
카렌 씨 가족이에요?
네, 남편, 아들, 딸, 저예요.
Once more with the English translation.
카렌 씨 가족이에요?
Is this your family, Karen?
네, 남편, 아들, 딸, 저예요.
Yes, this is my husband, son, daughter, and me. Wondering how you can master these conversations even faster? Here's how. 1. Read along. You get the lesson conversation and translations inside our dialogue tool so that you see each word as you hear it and understand it all. 2. Practice speaking. By shadowing what you hear, you can also record and compare yourself with native speakers with our voice recording tools. And 3. Take our assessment tests and see how much you remember. These tools are part of our Can Do course. Just click the link in the description to get them.
Let's take a closer look at the conversation.
Do you remember how the teacher asks, "Is this your family, Karen?"
카렌 씨 가족이에요?
First is,
카렌 씨,
meaning Karen.
카렌 씨,
This starts with Karen's name in Korean.
카렌, 카렌, 카렌,
After this is
씨,
a polite suffix attached to a person's name.
씨, 씨, 씨,
Is commonly used among people of equal social status, age, or position. This suffix can be used with any gender and can be attached to a person's given name or their full name, but not the last name alone. Together,
카렌 씨,
Karen.
카렌 씨,
After this is
가족,
family.
가족, 가족,
Together
카렌 씨 가족,
means Karen's family, but it translates as your family.
카렌 씨 가족,
In Korean, it's more common and polite to address a person by their name and polite suffix, rather than directly with words like your or you. After this is,
이에요,
in this case, it's like the is in "Is this your family?"
이에요, 이에요, 이에요,
Is the polite spoken form of the verb,
이다,
meaning to be.
이다,
Note, there are two forms of the polite spoken form of the verb to be.
이에요,
Follows words that end in a consonant, like.
가족,
Altogether, it's.
카렌 씨 가족이에요?
This literally means Karen family this is, but it translates as Is this your family?
카렌 씨 가족이에요?
Remember this question. You'll hear it again later.
Let's take a closer look at the response.
Do you remember how Karen says, "Yes, this is my husband, son, daughter, and me"?
네. 남편, 아들, 딸, 저예요.
There are two parts to the response. The first part is,
네.
yes.
네. 네.
It answers the teacher's yes-no question. Is this your family? In the second part, Karen lists the different members of her family while pointing to each family member.
남편, 아들, 딸, 저예요.
This is my husband, son, daughter, and me. First is
남편,
husband, but it translates as my husband in this context.
남편, 남편,
After this is
아들,
son,
아들, 아들,
next is
딸,
daughter,
딸, 딸,
next is
저,
translating as me in this case.
저, 저,
Finally,
예요,
in this case, it's like the is in this is.
예요, 예요, 예요,
Is from the verb
이다,
meaning to be.
이다,
Note there are two forms of the polite spoken form of the verb to be.
예요,
Follows words that end in a vowel, like
저,
altogether.
남편, 아들, 딸, 저예요.
Which literally means husband, son, daughter, me, this is. But it translates as, this is my husband, son, daughter, and me.
남편, 아들, 딸, 저예요.
Note, this is understood from context, as the speaker is answering a question about the group of people in the picture. In addition, this Korean sentence doesn't include a specific word meaning my, as here, it's understood from context, as the speaker is answering a question. Again,
남편, 아들, 딸, 저예요.
the pattern is
family member, family member, family member, 저예요.
this is my family member, family member, family member, and me. To use this pattern, simply replace family member with each of your family members. Imagine your family members are your wife, your son, your daughter, and you.
아내,
Wife,
아내, 아내,
say, this is my wife, son, daughter, and me. Ready?
아내, 아들, 딸, 저예요.
This is my wife, son, daughter, and me.
아내, 아들, 딸, 저예요.
In the conversation, the teacher says, 카렌 씨 가족, which translates as Karen's family, but literally means Karen family. The possessive marking particle, 의, which will follow 카렌 씨, Karen, is omitted as is understood from context. Think of 의 as a way to indicate possession, like the apostrophe S in Karen's family. The word it follows possesses the thing that comes after it. The phrase including 의 is as follows. 카렌 씨의 가족. 의 marks 카렌 씨, Karen, as the possessor. However, in spoken Korean, the possessive marking particle 의 is often omitted. 카렌 씨의 가족 becomes 카렌 씨 가족, as seen in the dialogue.
Let's look at some more examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
남편, 아들, 딸, 저예요. 남편, 아들, 딸, 저예요.
아내, 아들, 딸, 저예요. 아내, 아들, 딸, 저예요.
아내, 딸, 저예요. 아내, 딸, 저예요.
남편, 아들, 저예요. 남편, 아들, 저예요. 남편, 아들 둘, 저예요. 남편, 아들 둘, 저예요.
Did you notice how the last speaker says the number of sons?
Wondering how you can master these conversations even faster? Here's how. 1. Read along. You get the lesson conversation and translations inside our dialogue tool so that you see each word as you hear it and understand it all. 2. Practice speaking. By shadowing what you hear, you can also record and compare yourself with native speakers with our voice recording tools. And 3. Take our assessment tests and see how much you remember. These tools are part of our Can-Do course. Just click the link in the description to get them.
남편, 아들 둘, 저예요.
This is my husband, 2 sons, and me.
아들 둘,
2 sons.
아들 둘,
First is
아들,
son.
아들,
Next is the native Korean number
둘,
2.
둘, 둘,
It follows
아들,
son and is used to indicate the number of sons. To say 2 daughters,
딸 둘,
2 daughters.
딸 둘.
You should be aware of this pattern, but you won't need it for this lesson.
Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say yes? 네. 네. And how to say me? 저. Do you remember how to say daughter? 딸. And how to say son? 아들. Do you remember how to say husband? 남편 남편 Do you remember how Karen says, yes, this is my husband, son, daughter, and me?
네, 남편, 아들, 딸, 저예요.
네, 남편, 아들, 딸, 저예요. Do you remember how to say family? 가족, 가족. And how to say Karen's name in Korean? Karen, Karen. Do you remember how the teacher addresses Karen? 카렌 씨, 카렌 씨. Do you remember how 선영 asks, is this your family, Karen?
카렌 씨 가족이에요?
카렌 씨 가족이에요? Do you remember the word for wife? 아내, 아내.
Let's practice. Imagine you're Mark's colleague, Sang-hoon. You have a wife and a daughter. Respond to Mark's question referring to the photo. Don't forget to include the word yes at the beginning of the response. Ready?
상훈 씨 가족이에요?
네, 아내, 딸, 저예요.
Listen again and repeat.
네, 아내, 딸, 저예요. 네, 아내, 딸, 저예요.
Let's try another. Imagine you're Mark Morris. You have a wife, a son, and a daughter. Ready?
마크 씨 가족이에요?
네, 아내, 아들, 딸, 저예요.
Listen again and repeat.
네, 아내, 아들, 딸, 저예요. 네, 아내, 아들, 딸, 저예요.
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Mark's friend, Hyung-suk Hwang. You have a husband and son. Ready?
현숙 씨 가족이에요?
네, 남편, 아들, 저예요.
Listen again and repeat.
네, 남편, 아들, 저예요. 네, 남편, 아들, 저예요.
This is the end of this lesson.
Now, here's what you can do to cement this conversation in your head. Review the conversation with our dialogue tool and lesson transcripts. Study the key words and phrases with our spaced repetition flashcards. Review the key grammar and cultural tips inside the lesson notes. And test yourself with our assessment tests. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to access our Can-Do course.
Now you know how to talk about your family in Korean. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.